Hello there, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of our discussion of games of 2014. I am Craig, and I'm once again joined by Daniel.
We're back in your ears.
How was your Christmas?
Still bad.
You want to elaborate?
Nope.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Second chance.
Maybe.
Your time for redemption.
No.
Did Santa Claus give you coal?
Do
you celebrate Christmas?
Santa Claus. No, I'm Jewish.
Oh. Well, I just learned something new about you.
I'm not.
After like 7 years, you feel like I would have known that.
I come from a Catholic family.
So, you may be converted.
Well, grandparents were Catholic. My parents really didn't. Why are we getting into this?
I don't know. I just felt like it was appropriate to talk about your screwed up life, because we're going to talk about screwed up games today.
Oh.
Anyway, last time, yesterday, we talked about some games that we enjoyed in 2014, some of our favorites, the one we had fun with. Now we're talking about the opposite end of the spectrum, games that were profoundly disappointing for various reasons. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that these games are bad. Some of them are. Some of them are flaming piles of trash that are broken or missing features or poorly designed, but not all of them. Some of them are just games that we were hoping more from, had high expectations, and it didn't meet them, or we think they could have been more than they ended up being just in general. But before I get to any of that, first, I would like to point out that this podcast is once again brought to you by Audible.com. Audible.com is the leading provider of audiobooks with more than 150,000 titles across all types of literature. So if you want to read about stuff like fantasy, detective novels, whatever, any number of books you could possibly imagine, probably some romance in there, I don't know. I'm not into that stuff. Maybe you are. That's up to you to decide. But if you follow the link in the description below, you get a 1-month free trial of Audible.com on us, and you get one free audiobook of your choosing, whatever you want. It's on the house. So if you want to sign up for that, helps me out a lot. Follow the link in the description below. So we're going to do this a little differently than we did it yesterday. Yesterday, I just had this list of games that me and Dan had played in front of me, and I kind of picked and chose whatever I wanted to off of that list to talk about. This time, ahead of time, I grabbed all the games that me and Dan have played that either of us have found disappointing in some way and kind of just threw them into their own thing. So I'm going to read that list up front, and let me be clear, once again, these are games that me and Dan have played. If we haven't played them, even if they're god-awful, the worst things in the world, can't comment on them because haven't played them. And also, this discussion is going to be full of spoilers. So there are going to be games on here that are like very much plot driven, and to illustrate how disappointing they are, plot stuff will be discussed in some instances. Just a fair warning. So the games that we're going to be talking about today are Trials Fusion, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, Thief, Infamous Second Son, The Wolf Among Us, The Walking Dead Season 2, Watch Dogs, Destiny, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Halo the Master Chief Collection, and Assassin's Creed Unity. I have played like 7 or 8 of the games on this list. Dan has played 4 or 5 of them. And we're going to go back and forth and discuss why these games don't necessarily meet their expectations in some form or another. So, first off, game that Dan and I have both played, and I think that we agree that we actually like it, Trials Fusion. It's Trials. You know,
it is. Do you remember when the first one came out?
Yeah.
Like how we didn't know anything about it. We had played the demo, and like after playing the demo, we were just like, this is amazing.
It was a Sum of Arcade thing, and it was like the game when I think 4 or 5 games come out during Sum of Arcade when it did that, and that was one of those games where we were just like, oh, I guess like that one, whatever. What about these other 4? These look cool. And then Trials came out. And, like, it wasn't exactly new. Like, there have been, like, some Trials games, like, in the past, apparently. But this was the first one that we had ever really had exposure to. And when we played Trials HD, we really enjoyed it. But we were like, oh, you know what would make this game great if there was, like, multiplayer in it. That would be awesome. And I think, did it have a track editor? It did.
I don't even remember.
I think it had a track editor, but it was, like, you could make some pretty insane stuff, but you could only share it with people on your friends list. You couldn't share it with anyone else in the world. So it was a little bit limited. Then Trials Evolution came out. Trials Evolution is everything you could possibly want in a Trials game.
It blew us away.
It has tons of tracks, It has an expansive creative system that let people make like first-person shooters and horror games and platformer. People have made like Pac-Man inside of.
I don't even know how that's possible.
I don't know either. A lot of time. It's kind of like when I look at Little Big Planet and I don't understand how the hell anyone could make stuff that elaborate. It's ridiculous. But what it had was online multiplayer. You could play with your friends the tracks that were available. You could also download all of these ridiculous creative tracks that people in the community had made and play them with your friends. Now, the multiplayer did have some issues. It wasn't exactly it was pretty simplistic, and it was kind of buggy sometimes where stuff wouldn't work properly or people wouldn't be able to connect to the lobby for whatever reason. But it was there, and it worked, and it allowed for plenty of fun experiences. Never would have seen Payton react the way he did to the various tracks that we played if not for the ability to play online with your friends.
He got so mad.
So when Trials Fusion was coming out, I don't think it's crazy that I expected multiplayer.
We had the highest of expectations.
I saw, like, it looked like more Trials, and I was like, it's Trials, and they have a trick systems? Cool, that could be fun. Do we play tracks with all our friends? No, there's no multiplayer in that game. At all. Well, okay, there's local. You can play local multiplayer on 10 preset tracks. You can't use creative tracks at all. And I don't understand why.
Yeah, what happened?
I mean, I think they came out and said, well, not a lot of people played Trials multiplayer. I would fight on that. I mean, I don't have the raw data. I know that me and you and our group of friends played it, like, a lot.
Oh, we spent nights playing that.
We came back to it for years. Like, every once in a while, we'd be like, hey, you want to just load up some bullshit creative tracks and, like, run through them on Evolution?
Because they were always different.
And people...
It was always something new to play.
To this day, people are still making stuff because that editor is so damn expansive. And I think that editor is still... that is still in Fusion. That's totally still in Fusion. But you can't play it with your friends. And that was kind of the joy of that. Excuse me. That was kind of the joy of the creative stuff. It's cool to play it through on your own, but playing it with a group of friends and just going like, holy shit, what the fuck, this is ridiculous, was kind of one of the big draws of downloading those maps. So, Trials Fusion, it's not a bad game. It's more Trials, it's well done, it's pretty. Welcome to the Future, which doesn't have multiplayer in it. Great song at the beginning. Great in quotes. But I was blindsided. I think you were too. I was blindsided by the fact that there was no multiplayer.
And also, I'm going to be honest, I really didn't care for the trick system.
No, it's neat idea, but it wasn't executed all that well. It was too it was too finicky because it was controlled with the stick, like a thumbstick.
Yeah, you kind of had to like wiggle the stick to like make yourself do it.
So you had to wiggle the stick weird, and depending on what direction your bike was facing, the tricks were different and they would cancel out. The trick levels were not the levels I cared for in that game, like at all. So it felt like kind of a needless inclusion, but if there was multiplayer, I wouldn't have cared. Trials Fusion came out, and I bought it, and I think you and Payton were like at work, and you were gonna get it late. Wait, did you have an Xbox One yet?
No.
No, you didn't. Okay, you didn't have an Xbox One yet. You were gonna get one, and you were gonna get Trials, so we could all play together.
It was right around the time when I was getting an.
I think it came out around Titanfall, so. And you got it not soon after Titanfall came out.
Yeah.
But I downloaded Trials Fusion. Like, the second it came out, downloaded, ready to go. And I barely touched it. And I hadn't really looked through the menus at all. And I went to go stream it. Like, day of release. I went to go stream it. And I was looking in the chat before the stream had started, and I saw, I think it was Ninja say, like, I can't believe this game doesn't have multiplayer. And I went, what? I'm about to go live. There's no what? And then I went through the menus and I was like, holy shit, he's right. And then I ranted on the stream for an extended period of time and made that into its own video. Trials Fusion is a good game. It's a good Trials game. And it has more of that Trials gameplay that is great. And it's challenging and it makes you want to throw your controller across the room. But Evolution had that, and it had multiplayer. and it's a bummer that it's not there anymore. And the fact that they said, like, hey, multiplayer's coming, we're going to have some type of multiplayer mode, some type of multiplayer, it's ghosts. It's, hey, woo. It's like a tournament ghost mode. It's like, I haven't played it, but from what I've heard, it's, we all run through a challenge track, and whoever gets the best time, it wins! Woo! Woo! So that was just a bummer for basically that, because I was blindsided. I expected... the feature was in the prequel. It was shocking that it wasn't in the sequel. It was a bummer. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter is a game that I have played. Dan, you have not played. This is it's mainly story focused, and the story is kind of the most disappointing thing about it. So the whole point of Vanishing of Ethan Carter is, I didn't know a ton about it, but when it came out, reviews were actually pretty good. They were like 8s and 9s, some 10s, and that's kind of how Gone Home got introduced to me. I didn't know much about it or anything about it, and then reviews were glowing, and then I played it and went, oh my god, this is amazing. And Vanishing of Ethan Carter is another one of those games, like you're walking around an environment. That's basically the crux of it. There's a little more to it in that you're this supernatural detective, and you go into this area, and you examine stuff, and you come across murders, and then you have to find clues, piece together the murder, and when you get all the clues, you then can, like, step through back in time and chronologically piece the murder together, and you have to, like, it gives you 6 parts of a sequence, and you have to determine the order they happened in, and there's some puzzles in there, like there's a portal puzzle, and there's a lot of cool stuff going on in there, and it has really cool ideas, and graphically, it's really impressive, because what they essentially do is, I forget what the actual term for it is, but they essentially take photographs of real life stuff and then just make it into a texture. So, like, they take pictures of trees and then they put the tree in the game. And so, best looking trees in gaming you will
that's
ever
pretty
find.
Interesting.
And the forests of the year. Best forests you will ever experience in the game.
7.8 out of 10. Too many trees.
No, I wish there was more trees.
No.
But, like,
No,
the textures...
10 out of 10 trees.
Textures are great. It causes some framiness and some hitches because there's so much, like, intensive texture work going on. But the game, graphically, it's really impressive. In the environments, anyway. Humans aren't so much. So, you're introduced to this world. You're trying to find Ethan Carter because he has vanished. And, yeah, so, ooh, what a twist.
Shocker.
And as a supernatural detective, you're going around and you're solving all of these different puzzles, and, like, weird shit's happening. Like, you come across an astronaut in the middle of the field, then you go to space, then you come back, and you don't know why that happened. And that happens in numerous ways. You find, like, a forest goddess, and there's a murder in a cemetery. And it's intriguing, and it makes you want to know, like, what's going to happen next. The problem is that it screws up in 2 ways, is that whole game... You're not in danger. It's like a Gone Home. You're walking around at your leisure. You're solving mysteries. And some mysteries are kind of off the beaten path, so you can walk by them, and then later you have to backtrack all the... Because you have to figure them all out to finish the game. So you might just miss something and have to come back to it later. But that's a minor gripe. If you explore enough, you won't have that problem. There's 2 parts where the game screws up. The first of which is, near the end of the game, you have to go through this abandoned mine shaft. And in this abandoned mine shaft... You have to run around this maze with no map. There's a map at the entrance that you just have to memorize. And you have to collect pieces of, like, a door code and then bring it to a center area and put the code in to open up to summon this octopus. Roll with it.
What?
Ethan Carter. We gotta find him.
Okay.
So, the problem is that, one, you're running around a maze, and that's not a good puzzle. You're just lost, and you're running around poking
You're a mouse. You're a mouse looking for cheese.
In that maze, they spawn a zombie miner. It is I mean, like, with a pickaxe, not like a 5-year-old. And it spawns randomly, and if it sees you, it disappears, and then leaps out from just off screen, does a jump scare, and teleports you back to the beginning of the maze. It screams in your face and throws you back to the beginning of the maze to start all over again.
Oh, God.
It's the only time the game does that. It's out of place. It's frustrating as hell. And it's just not fun. the one point in that game where you're not using your brain to solve anything. It's luck. So after like 3 or 4 times of getting screamed at by a zombie, screaming in your face, it's like Five Nights at Freddy's. He literally pops up from just off the screen below you, just and then
fucked up.
You get thrown back, and that doesn't happen in the rest of the game. It's so out of place. It doesn't work. So
I would delete the game immediately if it did that shit.
So I just went, this sucks. This is bad. I looked up the door code, ran to where I had to input it, and then summoned the octopus. The other problem with that game, spoilers. So you're trying to find Ethan Carter, and during this entire time, and he's like a little boy, and during this entire time, you're coming across like his family members, and you're finding his dead family members, and you're solving the murders. Like, they've been trying to sacrifice Ethan to this weird like dark god that will be angered if it takes over the land, and Ethan's been trying to like say, no, you don't have to kill me, we can fight against the darkness. And so there's this whole occult thing going on, and when you get to the end of the game, you find out that what's actually happened is that Ethan Carter is a kid with a very active imagination, and he got trapped during a fire and is dying, and everything that you've done is just him hallucinating and freaking out. So nothing happened.
What the fuck?
The entirety of that game is basically a dream sequence.
Wait. I've heard this before.
Mm-hmm.
Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, you're right. Both games are bullshit. Anyway, but with Ethan Carter, the whole goddamn thing is essentially like, I forget, there's like that thing where when you're dying, time slows down and you're like in your own head. It's a plot device I've seen before. But I get what they were going for. I understand the theming, and basically everything that you've been seeing is just Ethan is a very imaginative kid, and he writes these stories. So the astronaut thing is just a story he made up based on his family, and the portal house is just a story he made up. So that's what you've been experiencing the entire time. And after all the intrigue and the murders, he's been imagining his family dying? What? But after all this intrigue and all of these murders, it was a dream. It was a fucking dream the whole time. And I understand what they were going for. I wasn't angry when I got to the end of it. I was just like, oh, that's it? It's kind of cliched and lazy.
Was this made by M. Night Shyamalan?
Well, no, because the twist was plausible, but it just wasn't very satisfying. Some people love it.
Out of nowhere.
Some people think the twist is great. Some people think it ties the game together. Others think it's bullshit and cliched and kills the game. I'm kind of in the middle. I understand what they were going for. If you go back, you can kind of see the clues and how it came together. But at the same time, that's a pretty cliched ending. Like, it was all a dream. It's just kind of a bummer of an ending.
How have I never heard of this?
Well, it wasn't a big release. It came out, and it got reviewed well, but it wasn't it was an indie game. I think it was only on Steam. I think it's only on Steam. Them textures. Only PC could handle them. Master Race.
I hate you.
So at the end of the day, like, when I was playing Ethan Carter, I was like, oh, this is intriguing. These mysteries are kind of cool. These trees look so good. Oh, this minor sequence. Then the minor sequence is one of the last things in the game. So you do that minor sequence, you're like, well, that was kind of dumb and out of place and crappy. And you get to the ending, and you're like, oh. So the last 3 to 4 hours were just, okay. So it's not a bad game, just I kind of expected more from it, personally. Next up, Thief. Man, Thief. Now, I should not be as disappointed by Thief as I am. I heard nothing but bad things about it with preview coverage and all that stuff. And the reviews came out, and most of them were like, it's not that great. But I have a reverence for the original. I've never actually beaten it. I basically just played the first mission again and again and again and again. And the second mission, they were like, hey, there's crude 3D zombies. And I went, done. Not playing any further. As an adult, I got to mission 4 in that game because it was on sale on Steam. And I was like, I really like Thief. But I do have a great reverence for that series, even though I've never actually beaten any of them.
Why? What?
What?
This has been a thing between you and I for a while. What is your thing with crude 3D
I
monsters?
don't. I can't explain it to you. It's just as a kid, that stuff would freak me out. Another example of that is there's a game, there's a LucasArts Western first-person shooter I've talked about called Outlaws. Great
Go.
game. It's never remembered, but it was a great game. But there are just like these 2D tarantulas. They freak me they're 2D sprites, but they freak me the fuck out.
Well, that's why you couldn't even get that far in Dark Forces because of the what was it?
Because there was a sprite octopus tentacle monster in the sewers.
This dates back to like you playing Minecraft.
It's a childhood phobia. It's a childhood phobia of mine. I don't. It's a weird. I wonder if anyone else has this. I've gotten better at it, but it's still. It affects me. It affects me immensely. Anyway, get back on topic. With the new Thief, I was hoping for because we haven't had a Thief game since the original Xbox. It was also on the PC. It was Deadly Shadows, I want to say it was. It was the third one. So when it was like new Thief game, cool, awesome. Can't wait for this series to like get back on track. Nope, it has so many just bizarre design decisions. The AI is either stupid or broken. Combat is a quick time event. If you get caught, then a guard runs at you, and it's like, hey, hit the button to deflect him with your blackjack, which is a club, for people to know. It's not just a card game. It's a club, too.
What?
Probably came first. You hit a button, and if you fail it, then you just get hit with a sword, like, and it's knocking out people is a quick time event. You're constantly... Because you're a thief, you're constantly breaking into houses and just grabbing everything, grabbing forks and spoons. So you feel like a petty thief. In the other games, he went after jewels and ancient scripture and stuff. In this one, he's like, "Ooh, a fork, mine. I get 2 cents for this." Like, great. Like, so you're just like shoving all this crap in your pockets. It feels weird, out of place.
He's a full-blown klepto.
Yeah, the environments are really condensed and labyrinthian, good word, labyrinthian, and full of there are loading times everywhere, even on the PC version. The story is dumb and lazy and cliched. It's oh my god, I was hoping that game, I was hoping that it was going to be one of those games that all the reviewers didn't like, and I was like, but I see that, no, it's not. It's okay at best, and that's if you can get past a lot of bullshit. It's just not worth playing, and I bought it at full price.
You were so disappointed whenever you streamed it.
I streamed it like numerous times, and each stream you can see me getting like, at first I was like, okay, it's got problems, but this is all right. And the next time I'm like, okay, it's got even, but it's not bad. And the next time I was like, this isn't good. Like, this really isn't good at all. Like the ending. Because you're a thief and you stick to the shadows, the ending is... So at the beginning of the game, like, you stumble upon... You and your apprentice, hothead, thief, girlfriend, person, you're like, jumping off cross rooftops, and you stumble upon, like, this weird ancient ritual, and the girl you're with is like, let's steal that thing that's glowing and evil. And you're like, maybe let's not do that. But she falls through the glass and gets sucked into, like, a portal or whatever. And then I guess you get knocked down and a bunch of time passes. And then, like, you find out she's, like, been combined with this ancient god or spirit or something. I don't fucking know. And because you're a thief and you like the shadows, at the end, like, she's, like, become a goddess of light. Because, of course. And you're fighting her in this room that's full of pillars. And so she'll, like, radiate this light off of her, and you just have to hide behind the pillar in the shadows to dodge her attack. So for an ancient god, if you just throw a blanket on yourself, you win. You would be unfucking touchable to her, because that's her entire power, and you just have to like sneak up on her 3 times and stab. It's a bummer. That game deserves better. That series deserves better. I want to go back and actually play through all 3 of those games because I have such a reverence for them and such nostalgia. Why do there gotta be crude 3D zombies, man? I just wish they weren't there. It fucks up everything.
You'll get past it, man. I believe in you.
Yeah. Now, just because because the next like 4 games I have listed are games that I have played that Dan has not. So just to get him a little more involved in the conversation, yo, Dan, dog, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. What do you think? Do you actually consider that game like profoundly disappointing? A little bit. Like where do you stand?
I honestly just think I've been slowly getting disappointed in Call of Duty games for a while.
Since what exactly?
I feel
Black
like
Ops,
I'm never.
Modern Warfare 3.
I wanna say maybe Modern Warfare 3. What came after Black Ops?
It was 3. Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah, I think Modern Warfare 3 was when it started going downhill. Black Ops I had a lot of fun with, but I feel like I'm never going to get back the feeling that I got when we started playing the first Modern Warfare.
The game that you and I met on. So basically it's because Dan met me. Like, he'll never get that magic back.
I don't know what it is about it. Like,
I just explained.
Cool. We get to move fast, the exosuits. It's like it's a cool concept and everything, but and maybe it's not even the game. I'm starting to think that maybe it's me. Maybe it's all the Call of Duty gamers. Like I was playing it right before we started this, mostly because they came out with a steampunk exosuit that I wanted to wear,
which you paid $3 real for.
I can find $3 in my belly button.
I just like the fact that you have spent the month since the game came out, more than that at this point, just saying, like, I don't like Advanced Warfare. There's something about it. I don't like it. And they came out with Steampunk, and you went, you know what? This game's not bad.
I was going to give it another try, and I have. But it's just like, honestly, like, the story's cool, and
the story's cool? What?
It was a cool idea.
Let me correct you. Kevin Spacey's cool. If he wasn't in the game, the story, like, no one would give a shit, I don't think.
It kind of shit itself at the end.
And predictable.
It shit itself at the end, majorly.
Mm-hmm.
Who didn't see that plot twist coming a mile away?
Everyone. He declares war on the world because Kevin Spacey can do that.
Yeah.
And doesn't get immediately rushed at the UN.
He's the bad guy, everybody. Spoilers. We should have said spoiler alert right before that.
Darn.
Kevin Spacey's the bad guy. At the beginning, he's like your new father. He treats you all well and nice and everything.
Gives you a robot arm.
He gives you a robot arm because your arm gets cut off, and then his son dies. But
who is so developed? Press F to feel things.
That's become a meme, by the way.
I'm not surprised. It got so much controversy before the game even was out.
Press F to pay respects, and then you just put your hand, the one that you have left, on the casket. But it's just the
multiplayer is what really upset you.
I feel like I think that I am more disappointed in the fact that it's just like it tried something new, and I just didn't feel anything. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are like the same thing. It's just like, hey, Call of Duty came out, and Kirk used to love Call of Duty, and now he's just like, nah, it's not even. I don't even want to play it anymore.
I wonder if it's telling that they don't list the multiplayer numbers anymore.
I can't imagine why.
I'm curious if that has anything to do with the fact that Ghosts, if not long, a couple months in, if you looked at it, would be like number of players online, like 4,000. But if I go and put in Black Ops, it says like 80,000. Like, what happened?
I think I do think that maybe I'm just disappointed with. I'm just gonna say it. I hate Call of Duty players.
Well, because you hate quickscoping, you hate camping, you hate. That's about it.
Quickscoping, camping, spawn trapping, all of that stuff. It's starting to I played Call of Duty. Guess how many times I got quickscoped in the 45 minutes while I was waiting for you to get into this call?
73.
That's pretty good.
And that's not good.
Hey, here the most powerful sniper rifle is a shoulder-mounted sniper rifle that makes you kind of slower to move and all of that. Yeah, it still quickscopes the same. And you know what? Black Ops kind of did it right because when you lifted up the sniper, it kind of would. It moved it in a weird way where quickscoping was not a thing.
Like wobble or something?
Yeah.
Your aim wouldn't be dead center just instantly.
Yeah, like, oh god, I just every single time I get quick scoped and I just look at the kill cam and he just kind of tapped a little bit on the left trigger. It's just like I have an exosuit and I'm bouncing around. How the fuck are these people still able to kill me?
Man, auto aim.
Yeah, it's fucking. I hate it.
I've heard a lot of discussion about Advanced Warfare, where the philosophy that they've had, or the not the philosophy, but the theory that they had was when Call of Duty, especially Modern Warfare, when it got really big, it focused on being really fun for the casual player. It was a great run and gun. And then as the games go on, they've been listening more and more to the people who are constantly bitching and tailored it more toward a competitive experience, which makes it less fun for those of us who just want to play and have fun. Anything?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's. I mean, if you don't, if a new Call of Duty comes out and you play that nonstop, you will get good. But if you take a break to play any of the big releases that are going to be coming out that season, even a week,
you're behind.
You now suck.
There's also. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
There are people on Xbox Live and PSN who only play Call of Duty games. There are those people out there. That is the only
one game. They buy
want.
2 games a year: Call of Duty and Madden, and they are great at them. And just those people.
And it's
exist.
just like, yeah. So like now, I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that when I hopped on, I wasn't doing better. You know, seeing as I was playing all the kids who had just gotten it for Christmas. But maybe I waited too long for that.
And they've already quit. They're done. They're already 10th prestige. You wasted too much time.
Yeah. I don't understand it. I never feel like. And what the hell is up with the goddamn matchmaking system? Holy shit. Why is it that every time it's just like, I'll play by myself and it's just like, oh cool, I have like 2 people who are prestige too. And this is like all games in general. Like we had this happen in Titanfall a lot. Why is it that when I join a game, they can't get it right where it's just like, maybe time played should have a bit of a factor?
Here's the thing that I've heard, the 2 big complaints that I've heard. Although I will say, like an hour before we started doing this, Dan was like, yeah, so I bought steampunk stuff on Call of Duty, so let's play some Call of Duty just for the hell of it. And I loaded it up, and it sat at the connecting to Xbox Live screen for like 4 to 5 minutes. Failed. I was stuck in that menu. I had a dashboard. Then it managed to get through that after a couple minutes, and then said fetching online profile for 5 minutes, and then went, yeah, we can't connect to Call of Duty. The servers are broken. While Dan was sitting in a Call of Duty lobby, like able to play. So I don't know what the problem is. Although I will say the 2 big complaints that most people have with that game are, 1, it's 2014. This game is one of the biggest franchises in the damn world, makes bazillion dollars, have dedicated servers already. There's no reason they shouldn't have them by now. Peer-to-peer is kind of unacceptable. For like a small little game, loadout, I don't even know, I think that might have peer-to-peer, I don't know, and I would assume it does. If they have dedicated servers, then holy shit. What the fuck is Activision doing? But at this point, it should have dedicated servers. There's no excuse at all anymore. There hasn't been for like 5 years. And 2, apparently, I don't follow this type of stuff all that closely. So I'm just kind of taking it at its word. But apparently, Advanced Warfare uses skill-based matchmaking and doesn't take connection into account whatsoever. So you are potentially... So it's matching you for skill, like based on, I guess, KD or whatever. But you're in Colorado, you're playing with me from New York, then there's a guy in California, then there's a guy in Europe, there's a guy just in a bunker somewhere in Afghanistan, and there's a guy in Japan. It doesn't care where you are or what your connection is, even if it's shit, it's just looking for skill and nothing else. I don't know if that's changed, I don't know if that's been patched, because I haven't been following it at all. But that's why there's been all these like lag compensation problems and issues that people have been complaining about. Because it's a crapshoot whether or not you're going to get a good connection. At least it was. I'll say again, haven't played the game in like a month, so I don't know. Maybe it's fixed. Maybe it's perfect. According to Dan, it's not.
But Craig, if they have to fork out the money for dedicated servers, they won't be able to pay for their yacht.
No, they have to get a smaller one. It's like that episode of South Park. When they were illegally downloaded music,
yes.
All he wants for his birthday is his own private island off the coast of Costa Rica. Well, he's gonna get it, right? I see an island without an owner. Like, it's not. and look, here's this would be a completely acceptable compromise. It's still kind of shitty, but I will live with it. Dedicated servers for the new game at launch. When the new game comes out, migrate that one to the dedicated servers and put the old game on peer-to-peer. I would live with that compromise.
They don't. You know, here's the weird thing too, because you know, I thought that Halo had dedicated servers, which apparently it doesn't. But Halo has never had dedicated servers, and the only thing that I never see that much of a.
You always bring up the host shotgun as like the one thing that gets by as a problem.
Well, like admittedly, when we were all playing Halo, I think I did have a bit of an advantage. But like, why is it that I feel it way more in Call of Duty than in Halo? On any system. This is going back to 2004 when Halo 2 came out. I didn't have problems with that.
I think between the two of us, Dan is frustrated with not just the series. He's really frustrated with the series at this point. And the people who play it. I like Advanced Warfare, all right. I enjoy playing it, but I kind of haven't played it since I hit level 50. Like, I hit level 50, and I didn't even, like, plow through. Like, it took me a week and a half, 2 weeks. I would just play on and off. And I like it, but every match, it was like, I'm doing really well this match, and I feel good. And the next match would be like, I'm going 10 and 27. Like, this is kind of frustrating now. And I'm facing like almost the same people, and my gun is the same, and I'm doing the same tactics. What is wrong this time? And it just, I don't know. So for me, it was like a little disappointing because after Ghosts, seeing Advanced Warfare and seeing all the gameplay, I was really excited that like I was excited. I think Dan can attest to this too. I was excited for a Call of Duty game this year because Ghosts, I didn't give a shit. I played it.
We thought they could only go up.
We thought, well, Ghosts. They did. They did go up from Ghosts. Come on.
Okay, you're right.
It's a better game than Ghosts. It's more fun than Ghosts.
Oh God, I can't believe I bought Ghosts.
We're fucking plebes. We're gonna buy the next one. Don't even fucking try and say we're gonna. If I say it here, then I kinda have to not get it. It's gonna happen, man. We're plebes. Until they release a completely broken one. There is a game on this list that belongs to a major franchise that we will get to later that has made me not want to play the franchise ever again. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is not it. I was hoping for more, but I still like what I got overall, despite my issues. Dan is kind of... he's on the other end. He's more disappointed.
I don't know why it's still on my Xbox.
Because because Steampunk. You paid $3 for that. You can't give it up now.
Once again, man. $3, not a big deal. I'm not sitting here on my gold throne saying that like I got all the money in the world, but it's $3. That's a Big Mac.
That's not even. I don't know. It's like a burrito at Taco Bell. I've been going to Taco Bell.
No, burritos are cheap there.
They're like $2 depending on the burrito.
I'm fucking hungry now. God damn it.
Well, that's unfortunate. Next game on the list, PS4 game, so Dan doesn't have experience with it. Infamous Second Son. I like the Infamous series. Yeah, I did stream that game for a little while, for like 2 hours. What did you think from what you saw?
You sounded disappointed.
All right. Well, that was when I was like halfway through. So here's the thing about Infamous. I really love the first Infamous that was on the PS3. It was a great exclusive. It had a surprisingly good story and one hell of a twist at the end. Infamous 2 was a great game. It was refined in some areas. Story was more predictable, but I still enjoyed it. So when Infamous Second Son, I was excited for. I was looking. It was when it was announced. I was like, when that game comes out, that's what I'm getting a PS4 for. That is the reason I'm getting that next generation system. Here's what I'll say about it. It is a first generation game, but in the way that like Titanfall was a first generation game on the one, with like great gameplay but not a lot to it. Infamous, on the other hand, is great graphics with pretty simple but also kind of frustrating gameplay and also not a lot to it. So as a graphical showcase, the game is beautiful. The particle effects are great. It looks amazing in the rain, which I think we can say about like every game that comes out. That is now how you determine whether or not a game has great graphics. How's it look in the rain at night? So that's really, I'm not even kidding. That is like a great standard to judge stuff by.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
The character models, the facial capture with Troy Baker is incredible. The hands, this is gonna be the fingers. The way the fingers move on these people is amazing. Best fingers, next gen fingers, they're here finally. Everyone was asking for them. Looks great. But the problem is that the story, pretty run of the mill, doesn't have any real excitement to it. And it kind of has the same problem that Infamous has always had, where Infamous allows you to like play the hero or play the villain, and the hero path is the path they want you to do, because the villain path makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. Like, it's like the character you're running around as, Deslin, he's, you know, making jokes and cracking wise and having a good time, and if you select the evil choice, he's just like, he goes from like, yeah, I have powers, this is awesome, I'm gonna go help my brother who's a cop, let's kill all of the babies, and let's go back to it's that jarring and doesn't really work. And the other
all of the babies,
all of them, and the powers, they give you a handful of different powers, and they're kind of neat and unique, and they allow for different types of traversal, but at the end of the day, they're just different ways of getting somewhere. Like, you're gonna get to point A or point B the same way every time. It's not all that special. And everything about the combat and the gameplay is just pretty repetitive. Like, you're just doing the same thing over and over. You're fighting off these same waves of bad guys and using the same tactics every time and using the same powers on the same enemies. You find the one power that kind of like works the best and you use it constantly for fighting guys. They add kind of bullshit touch controls in it because the PS4 has the touchpad on it. So like, to do stuff, you have to take your hand off the controller and swipe, and it's just intrusive. Like, why can't I hit X to open this gate? Why do I have to swipe? It just seems silly. Although I will say shaking and using the controller as a spray can, that's actually kind of cool. It's stupid, but it's also really neat and works surprisingly well, and it translates. It's very natural. I don't know. To hold that controller in your hand.
I don't think there's as good as a, like, what you have to do with a controller as No More Heroes. I mean, they made it the best.
Yeah.
So Infamous ain't got nothing on that.
I mean, it's kind of the same motion, except spray can versus Dick Laser Sword. So
fuck yeah, Dick
you just have to pick your poison. Do you want to be a graffiti artist or Dick Laser Sword?
I think we all know which one's better there.
Dick Laser Sword while spraying graffiti. Yep.
Well, now you've just gone crazy pants.
So Infamous Second Son, just halfway through it, I was like, okay, this needs to, like, it's not even that long of a game, but like halfway through, I was like, it's not really engaging, and the gameplay started out as simple fun, and then just kind of became frustrating, because there were also a lot of times where the game just sends tons of reinforcements at you, so even though you're this super human who can do all this weird power stuff, you're getting shot by like 30 people with rifles, and they just keep knocking you back and preventing you from getting away from them, because every time you get hit, you kind of get knocked, and it can become surprisingly frustrated because they overwhelm you. So, not a bad game. It's as a first generation, as like a first new game on a new system, its first year, it's okay. It's a decent enough thing, but I expect more from that series, and I expected a lot more from Infamous, so I was pretty disappointed by it. The next two games are both from a company that has a pedigree and is now releasing games just at a constant click from a variety of different IPs. Both of these are from Telltale Games, who made The Walking Dead Season 1 2 years... That was 2012, I think. Made it in 2012. Loved it. Like, they've been making adventure games for a long time, but The Walking Dead kind of made them bigger than they were before, and loved it. It was a great experience. I know that Dan loved The Walking Dead. I love The Walking Dead. It was my game of the year that year. It was so good.
Oh, amazing.
The 2 games that they put out this year, they just put out Tales of the Borderlands Episode 1 and Game of Thrones Episode 1. I haven't played them. I've heard that they're good, but I am going to take that with a grain of salt, given The Wolf Among Us and The Walking Dead Season 2, which are the 2 games that have been disappointing. And the reason for that is The Wolf Among Us, I'll start with. It was a new IP based on a graphic novel series called Fables. And the whole premise of that is that fairy tale characters they live in the human world, and they have to disguise themselves and do some pretty dark stuff. Like, it's gritty, so like there's prostitution and there's murder and all that other shit, and there's brutal fights. And in the game you play as Big Wolf, big bad. Okay.
I love that.
It's a great name. He is the sheriff of Fabletown, and he tries to keep the peace and enforce the rules and deal with the troublemakers because, he's a giant wolf creature in disguise. He's incredibly strong and can beat the crap out of anyone. And the first episode does an incredible job of setting up this world and making you invested in it, and you really like the characters. Snow White is a constant throughout that entire series, and she's like your second in command. She's your friend, and sort of kind of like they like each other, but they won't say a type of interest. I hate that at this point. I just want people to kiss already.
Isn't that every movie with Michael Cera?
Yeah, he Big B Wolf. He voices Big B Wolf. Now you might know it's weird. But the first episode is really cool. It sets up this mystery because you meet this character and then that character gets murdered, and so you're trying to figure out why, and then it ends with like this crazy cliffhanger. And I think that game it didn't benefit from being episodic because the episodes came out like every 2 months or so, and between those 2 months, you because it's a mystery with detective stuff and multiple characters. So between the months, you kind of forgot what happened. Or what happened lost its impact because there was so much time between the episodes. And the problem with The Wolf Among Us is that the first episode is pretty strong. Second episode, pretty strong. Third episode, it's pretty strong as well. It's all right. It's a decent romp, and it adds some new elements. Like it adds a timing element to stuff. And the fight scenes throughout this series are great because naturally every episode someone disagrees with you and you beat the living shit out of them and you turn into a wolf creature. It's great. The problem with it is that The Wolf Among Us should have been 3 or 4 episodes long because episode 4 and 5 spin, and a little bit in 3, spin their wheels. So they take a long time and drag out sequences to get a piece of information that you figure out like a quarter of the way through. So you go to talk to this character in like his shop, and then he's cagey with you, and then he tries to run, and you catch him, and then you open a secret door, and then you talk to him again, and then even though opening the secret door you have figured out everything that's going on, and then you leave and go to another location, and you engage in a brawl, and it's not, the action stuff is cool, and the mystery is intriguing until a point, but it takes way too long to get across information that it could get across in half the time. And at the end of the day, the whole mystery, like the reason for the murder, it doesn't really live up to the whole fantastical world that they've set this in. Like, we're in a world where fucking fairy tales are running around. Big B Wolf and Snow White, and like there are toads, like there are like talking animals. Like one of the 3 little pigs lives with you, and he's a smoker and an alcoholic. It's great. He's a great character.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, but what they're supposed to like disguise themselves and live among the humans is by using some magic dust glimmer or whatever it's called. It's a fantastic world, but the entire murder plot is there was like an underground slumlord guy who felt wrong, so he killed someone who wronged him. Woo, fucking wild and crazy, fantastical. It's just, for a world that cool, the plot that they go with is pretty standard in that way. And it should have been like 4 episodes long. I think it would have been a pretty tight 4 episodes. But And there are characters that are introduced.
Time.
Spend way too much time. There are characters that like introduced and seem interesting and seem important, and then just by episode 3, like they're just not. They don't matter. They're just off to the side. Who cares?
That's depressing.
But they end with a like cliffhanger thing. They end the season with like a aha thing, and they're probably gonna do a season 2 because Telltale loves to make multiple seasons of its stuff. I want to see where it goes, and I think it's good. It's a good season, but it could have been so much more. I was hoping for more given how cool the setting is, but what I got was all right. It was good, but it wasn't what I was hoping for. The real bummer that Telltale put out this year was The Walking Dead season 2, and in order to explain why, I need to talk about spoilers. And I talked to Dan about this before, but I will ask one more time. Dan, I know that you're interested in the Walking Dead series in all of its facets. Do you care? Do you mind if I talk about spoils and stuff? It's disappointing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you sure?
Go ahead.
All right. So, The Walking Dead season 2, it picks up, and you're playing as Clementine. After the end of season 1, bad stuff happened. Lee's not in the picture anymore, and now you're playing as Clem. Now, that was a bold choice, because I think a lot of people would have been okay with just leaving that storyline alone and moving on to someone else. But we all love Clem. Who doesn't love Clem? Great character, and she continues to be. So it takes place a little bit after the events of season 1. She's a little older now. I think she's 10 or 11. And the first 2 episodes do a really good job of reintroducing us to the world and to the characters and introducing new characters. Like, there are, at the beginning of episode 1, she is hanging out with some survivors of episode 1. That quickly falls to shit and she is left on her own. And you watch her as she tries to make it in this hostile world on her own as a 10-year-old using the lessons that Lee has taught her. And there are cool conflicts, like you find this dog, and he's like you can relate to him because he's a lost soul, he's just looking for food, and you bond with this dog, and it's so nice, and then you find food, and he basically rips your fucking arm off, because he as a dog, he's hungry, so he like grabs the food from you and tries to eat it, and Clem's like, hey, I want somebody, she grabs it, and he tries to maul her to death.
Jesus.
So he bites this huge just gash in her arm. And that just seems like a bad thing to start. But then you're found by a group of people. These guys find this little girl in the woods and they decide to help her out, kill the zombies, and bring her to safety. But then they see the bite and they don't know what caused it. And it causes this really cool conflict where they're like, it's a little girl, but she could have been bitten by a zombie. So she's potentially a threat to our group. So then they like lock you away, and they're like, we'll see what happens overnight. But Clem needs medical attention, so you do this really tense that you sneak inside the house, and you have to do the most painful thing. You have to suture her wound up 1 stitch at a time, and it's so hard. It's not fun. And so that all happens, and then so that's the first episode. You're introduced to this new group, and you're on your own, and it really ratchets up the intensity. In the second episode, you kind of get introduced to the group more, you learn more about the different characters, you start to like some of them you're just fucking idiots, some of them are just Bens, but there are others that are good. Wow. There are others that are good, and that you start to actually relate to and bond with, and characters that like were kind of dicks to you in episode 1, you kind of understand why they were dicks to you in episode 2. And they start building up this villain. He's kind of talked about a little bit in episode 1. They start building up this bad guy called Carver, who is played by Michael Madsen. What he's doing in a Walking Dead game, I do not know. But they got Michael Madsen to play the bad guy in Walking Dead Season 2. So they built him up as this menacing presence who's out to get the group that you just found. So you just happen to stumble upon the perfect group, full of conflict.
Lovely.
And in order to try and run away from him, you stumble upon a second group. And in that second group, spoilers one more time, in that second group, Kenny is there. You stumble upon Kenny. He is somehow fucking alive. You know how they explain it? I got lucky, and then they don't even bring it up. They don't even fucking address it. So Kenny's there, and the thing is, he went through a lot of shit in season 1, so he's kind of losing it. Like, he's not all there, but he's got like a new girlfriend, like woman that he's met, but he's not okay. And so now you're left with this kind of dilemma where here's Kenny, here's your old friend. He seems a little worse for wear and unhinged given all the shit he's been through, but he's your old pal. You know him. You've been through things with him. But then there's this new group of guys that you're starting to relate to, and the game does a lot of stuff where it's asking you to, like, do you sit with Kenny or do you sit with your old group? Who do you talk to? Who do you spend your time with? Who do you do things with? And there's then another conflict arises, but at the end of that episode, you get Carver catches up to you and captures you, and takes your group with him at gunpoint to a compound. Episode 3 is where the season starts to fall apart. Excuse me. Episode 3 is where the season kind of starts to fall apart. Because in episode 3, you are confined to this one area. You're confined to this one little compound. And you see the same areas just over and over and over again because you can't go anywhere. So you're seeing the same, like, 3 areas just ad nauseum. And it's here where a lot of problems start to crop up. For example, Carver, where he was built up as, like, a menacing character to start with, is just a cartoon villain at a point. Like, kills people for no reason, for the smallest of offenses that are not justified. And, like, I'm sure, like, that's the point. It's trying to make him out to just be evil. But it's like, oh, hey, did you do your work today? Like, did you cut the plants like you were supposed to? Well, no, I didn't get around to it. Throws him off a roof. Why? Fuck it. I don't know, because he has to be the bad guy. We got Michael Madsen. What else is he gonna do? Have you seen Reservoir Dogs?
I mean, they've kind of done that in the show.
Fine.
And in the comic, whenever there's a villain, he's kind of like an over-the-top asshole.
But he's just, it doesn't really fit with the first 2 episodes. Like, he's shown to be a jerk, but he's shown to be ruthless and a jerk, but not that crazy. Like, it's hard to explain, since you haven't played it. But throughout that episode, there's the Carver is kind of really over the top, and he, like, brings Clementine aside. He has a meeting with this 10, 11-year-old girl, and he's like, you and I, we're not so different. Yeah, we are. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not only is that, like, the most generic line you could possibly use, it doesn't work. Like, I do terrible shit, but I'm trying to do them for the good of the group, at least the way I'm playing. But, like, you're trying to do it for the good of the group, but you're murdering just people for no reason. I don't do that. So it didn't really work. But, so he's kind of cartoony and over the top, comparatively to what I had seen at that point. You're stuck in one location the entire time, and it's the part where the gaminess of it, the fact that you're the protagonist, becomes so in your face. And by that I mean, you're a 10-year-old girl. And over and over and over again, your group of capable, physically fit adults turns to Clem first and is like, why don't you go do this really fucking dangerous thing that any of us could do, but you do it first, 10-year-old girl.
They would never expect a 10-year-old girl to do it.
They do it because you're the protagonist. And no other reason. And they do it like 6 or 7 times. Like, hey, why don't you go sneak off into this area of the gun? Hey, why don't you try and steal the gun? Why don't you meet with this guy? Like, it's so blatant that the only reason this is happening is because you're in control of Clem. And that sets up, like, one funny line, I guess, where after this happens the entire episode, you can have one of the dialogue choices for Clem, like, the 8th time they ask her to do something, she's like, why am I the one that always has to do this stuff? But then it just they don't answer her. It just cuts to her having to do the thing. And
that doesn't sound as funny as the bug on the pillow.
Here's the problem. Yeah. Fuck duck. So here's the problem. By the end of episode 3, they deal with Carver. They kill the villain of the season. Halfway through the season. So with episode 4 and 5, they don't know what to do. So they kind of just meander and I don't know, I guess let's try and go here because what else? I don't know. The writer doesn't know where we're supposed to go. So let's go here, I guess. And and they try to set up this whole conflict with, like, Kenny is losing his mind and he's becoming even more unhinged, but it doesn't really work. And on top of that, the way the game is designed, you know how in Season 1, the choice stuff was incredibly well done, but at the end of the day, it was kind of more of an illusion. Like, at the end, like, there is a main story they want to tell, so no matter what you do, you're gonna be following that path, pretty much.
Yeah, this isn't like those old choose your own adventure books where, like, there's actually one correct way to go, and if you turn to the wrong page, you end up dying. Like, I remember looking up a flowchart of the first season of Walking Dead after I completed it, and it all just leads to the same.
Yeah, but the first season was really, really good at hiding it. You felt like when something bad happened, even if it was gonna happen, it was written to the script, you felt like you fucked up somewhere. It was your fault. Season 2, which I believe is not written by the same people who did Season 1, and it shows if that's the case, does such a poor job of hiding it. Like, the writers have one thing in mind, and if you don't do it, they don't compensate. They just keep rolling with it. So, like, there's a part where, at the end of episode 3, a member of your group gets bitten. And the last choice is either hit the zombie that bit her, or cut her arm off. I know The Walking Dead, so cut the arm off is what I went with. Because then she has a chance to live.
Was it you and me who had that whole conversation about the first season?
What do you mean? I mean, I've had conversations with, like, Peyton and people, I think.
Are we spoiling season one too?
It's been out for like 2.5 years.
Lee got bit, and I think you kept the arm
because I knew it had been too long at that point. Like, that, you have to, in the Walking Dead universe, because I had that knowledge of the graphic novel. In the Walking Dead universe, if you get bit, that arm or leg or whatever gets bitten has to come off immediately. Lee had been walking around bitten for like a couple hours at that point, so I knew it was pointless. Him cutting off his arm would have done nothing to help him.
So it was you who
yes.
I
had outsider knowledge.
I cut off the arm.
And bad idea.
Same ending.
Same ending, but then he's missing an arm, and he went through a ton of pain for nothing.
Yeah.
So I was like, she's bitten. Oh God, chop right the arm off. And it's kind of great because the best thing I think about episode 3, the ending, is like when you cut her arm off, like she looks at it, screams, cut to black credits. So you don't know what happened. And the reason why, you are surrounded, it does that thing that they've been doing in every Walking Dead show, graphic novel, the games. There's this huge crowd of zombies in front of you, so you all cover yourselves in guts and gore of a zombie.
Oh yeah, that's their like running.
And you're walking through this crowd, and something bad happens, and she gets bitten. And then, so I cut the arm off. And then in episode 4, you're dealing with the ramifications. So for my part, when I cut her arm off, she screamed because I cut her arm off, and that scream attracted the zombies to her, and she got eaten to death immediately. So I tried to help, and I ruined everything.
Huh.
And after your group gets away, you're talking to Kenny, because it was Kenny's girl. It was a new girlfriend that died. And he's sitting there, and he's super depressed. And he's even more unhinged, because this is like the 18th person he's lost that he's loved in his life. And he is sitting there being like, you think that just because you're a little girl that you're not fucking accountable? You think that you can just make mistakes and people die and it doesn't fucking matter? And I'm standing there going, I was trying to help, but I get where you're coming from. I understand. And the opposite end of the spectrum, some people didn't cut off the arm. Some people attacked the zombie. They got the same exact dialogue. Like, when you attack the zombie, like, they get away, like, she gets away, but then dies later of the bite. And he's like, just because you're a little girl, you think that your decisions don't matter. People could just die. And I'm saying, and if you chose that, you're sitting there being like, what did I do? I don't understand what you're talking about. Why are you fucking mad at me? So, and then in episode 4, it's blatantly obvious. Episode 4 was the weakest episode of season 1, just because there were a couple plot holes in terms of, like, zombie encounters that, like, weren't plausible. And there's also the fact that Ben was an idiot for the sake of causing conflict. made decisions that no rational human would make.
Everybody hated Ben.
But it wasn't a bad episode. It was still a good episode, and it was mainly setting up episode 5. But it was still pretty all right on its own. Episode 4, though, is blatantly trying to set up the climax episode. Like, it's obvious that there are characters that they just don't know what to do with. Because you actually come to realize that in The Walking Dead, if you have a choice to save character A and character B, the writers for the main plot can't really factor in who's going to live. So if you save person A, they're probably going to die in a later episode because they don't know if they're going to be there or not, so they don't factor them into the main plot. So in episode 4, they just, like, unceremoniously, with no fanfare, just start whacking off characters that have no usefulness anymore. Like, you've come across, like, you all get separated in that whole zombie scuffle that I talked about. And, like, you come across this character that you've been with since season 1, and he's just a dead zombie on the ground, and your group is like, oh, that's unfortunate. Moving on. And you move on. You barely address it. I don't even think you passingly tell his friend, like, oh, yeah, your like, lifelong friend is dead. And he's like, oh, shucks. All right, let's move on. And that's it. That's all you get. Then there's a girl they don't know anything to do, so they just kill her. I think 3 of your group die because they didn't know what to do with them. Just unceremoniously, they just die, and no one really gives a crap each time. And the most blatant problem I have with the whole choice stuff is the lack of choice that you have is apparent. Is in episode 4, you come across this Russian guy named Arno. No, it's not Arno. That's a Unity. Or is his name Arno? Shit. I guess they're both in the same universe. I think his name's Arno. I might be, but whatever. You come across this Russian kid because you're looking for supplies because one of your group is pregnant and, like, is going into labor, so you're trying to find any type of medicine you can. And you come across this kid looking for supplies, and he has a backpack full of medicine. And you're with this girl, and she holds him up at gunpoint and is like, I want your medicine. And he's like, no, please, I need this medicine. It's for my sick sister. Please do not take my stuff. Now, because I'm not a horrible human being, I went, let him go. Let him take his stuff and let him go. So I told the member of my group to back off. I gave him all of his stuff back, didn't take any of it, gave it back to him, and wished him on his way. The writers, I guess, weren't expecting me to do that. Even though most people, I think, would do that in that situation, in the game, anyway. Because the end of that episode, you come across him again, like you're walking down a path, and you bump into him, and he's standing there, and he's like, oh, hey. And then a bunch of guys jump out with AKs, all Russian guys. They jump out with AKs and fucking ambush your group, and he's like, they're the ones that robbed me. I didn't rob you. I did the exact opposite of what you're accusing me of. I did nothing to justify this reaction. But the writers didn't account for it, so fuck it. It didn't work. And then in episode 5, like, they're just, like, bad stuff happens. Somehow your group, at the end of episode 4, that episode ends with, you are surrounded on all sides by Russian guys with automatic weapons. AK-47s. Because naturally, every Russian person, even in the South, AKs just at the ready. They just have them in their attic, I guess.
I feel like that's a little bit stereotypical.
They have you surrounded in a Mexican standoff. And then the woman who was pregnant has since had her baby, but over the last couple days, after having her kid, she's become really weak, and she dies. And she becomes a zombie in the middle of this. Like, they're screaming, and there's this guy lying his ass off about me robbing him. Just wrong. Factually incorrect, sir. And we're surrounded on all sides again, and she turns into a zombie. And you can choose to shoot her, or yell for help, and then someone else will shoot her. And that game ends with cut to black, gunfire everywhere. Episode 5 starts, your entire group is fine. Fuck you. No, have an injury. How about that? Have someone caught no one is injured in any shape. You kill all the bad people, and then and then the kid who fucked with you, who lied about me robbing him, your group was like, hey, no, don't kill him. Let's let him live. Why? Why are we letting him live? He's a fucking liar. and he just tried to kill us. And then the entire crux of it is he's like, I have supplies and a house over here, so I'm gonna lead you to the house because this is a good plan. And then you get to the house, and fucking, again, they're just killing off characters they don't need. There's a character who has been with you the entire time, and in episode 4, he just became fucking stupid and made a decision that almost fucked your entire group over, and in fact did. It ended up getting people killed. So, randomly, he just got hit with the stupid stick for plot convenience. And then in episode 5, naturally, because this takes place in the winter, naturally, the house is on the other side of this massive frozen lake. Of course it is. And they're like, all right, we have to cross this lake. Where in the camera shot, they are telling you, have to cross this lake, no choice. You can see that the lake goes around. You could walk around in 5 minutes. But fuck it. We have to cause conflict. Let's walk across this frozen lake. And then people die, and people blame you for deaths. Like, a guy falls through the ice, and then you're given 2 choices. Either one, you can go and try to help him, or you can fend off the zombie horde that's chasing you, because of course there's a zombie horde chasing you across the frozen lake. That's because now there's a time constraint. Or he yells at you. He is saying, stay there, cover me, I'm going to try and get out on my own. And then there's a girl next to you saying, no, go help him. Go do that. So the smart thing to do is naturally not to add more weight to the ice. So I opt to cover him, and he's trying to get out on his own, and the girl rushes over and falls through the ice with him, and he dies and she doesn't, and then she's like, why'd you let him die? Fuck you. It's your fault he's dead, bitch. God damn it. Like, it's so frustrating, because after episode 3, which wasn't all that good, it just does not know what it wants to do or where it wants to go. And there's multiple endings, which leads me to believe there's not going to be a season 3 of Clem, because you can't account for everyone. Because there are a ton of endings. Because, like, at the end, like, this character that you've bonded with for, like, an episode and a half, and Kenny, like, they're constantly getting in a scuffle, and you have to decide who lives and who dies, and it's not earned. It's woefully disappointed. There's poor writing decisions. The choice stuff is so blatant now, and you can tell what's happening. It's so disappointing. Like, I rated those episodes out of 10, and like episode 1 and 2, I would give like an 8 or a 9. Like, they were still good episodes, and they were intense, and they were like, yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes. And episode 3 was boring, so 6. Episode 4 had some decent stuff in it, but blatant problems, and just, hey, these characters you've been with for 4 episodes, I mean, they died. Like, this character you've been talking to every episode and having bonding moments with and doing pinky swears with because she's your age, like, yeah, let's just fucking kill her because we don't know what to do with her. And episode 5 just sick. Like, it's a bummer, man. I didn't expect to go that long. And that's specific on season 2. I'm sorry.
You hate it a lot.
It's not good.
You analyzed the shit out of it.
I didn't even mean to go. I'm sorry that I went on a tangent, but
oh, it's fine.
It's one of my most disappointing games of the year. It's after the high of the first one, after how good and how great the development was, and how the choices made you feel like they mattered, just for them to just fuck it up so poorly. It's so unfortunate. It's not good. It's not cool.
You sound so sad.
It's a bummer, man. Between the two, that's why I'm hesitant about Borderlands and Game of Thrones, because the reviews are all like, man, episode 1 is great. Yeah, episode 1 was great for Wolf Among Us and Walking Dead season 2 also. Like, so I don't know if I trust that anymore.
I mean, why would you?
It's such a fucking bummer, man. Ugh. And apparently I got the worst ending in season 2, so like nothing's going my way.
Oh, nice going.
Not good. Anyway, moving on. Watch Dogs is disappointing because it was hyped up as the game that defines next gen. That's what the fucking trailers said. The game that defines next gen. It's an open world crime game. woo. And that, like, there's that whole thing where, like, they showed, when they first revealed it, they showed the graphics, and then those graphics were a fucking lie. Like, they were not representative of the game at all. But the game still looked all right. It looked pretty decent. That's not the problem. And it's not a bad game. It's a solid open world game. The hacking stuff, it's all just like, hey, hit X and make this shit explode. That's, like, pretty much all it is. So this idea of being able to hack the world, yeah, take control of the system, fight the man with their own weapons. I could make this stoplight go green when I want.
Look.
Woo! Like, the combat's fun. It's good third-person cover combat. Stealth is actually pretty alright. There are some fun missions in there, but it doesn't live up to the astronomical levels of hype that were bestowed upon it. It doesn't meet those expectations at all. The character of Aiden Pierce is boring and also kind of a fucking terrible human being. Like, for the hero of the game tries to make him out as, like, the hero. Nuh-uh. If he had just stayed home, Chicago would be so much better. If you just let the criminals do what they were doing, stuff would have been better than him interfering. Doesn't work. And also drags on for far too long. Like, that game is, I think, probably like a good 20 hours long plot-wise. Should have been 10. And I know that that's wishing for less content. The content that's there is just filler. It all feels like fucking filler. You spend so long. It's one of those things where, like, oh my god, Aiden's sister, who we spent 5 minutes with, was kidnapped. Shit. So in order to get her back, we have to hack this, like, main thing. But in order to hack the main thing, we first have to hack this other thing and infiltrate this group. But before we can do that, we have to hack this other thing and prove ourselves to this other guy. But before we do that, we gotta... So by the time you get back to the top, you're like, who was kidnapped and why again? I don't know. Because I don't care. It's not a bad game. It's not. I had fun playing it, but it should have stopped. It should have stopped itself like halfway through.
I had very, very minor interest in it. And then, like, I think maybe a few days after it came out, I saw a video. It was just a massive list of things wrong with it.
I had to play, like, it was the game that defines next gen, Dan. I had to know.
Is it better than Fish AI?
I mean, there's no fish. I can't judge. But there's oversights. Like the fact that you have a massive wanted level. You have all the cops coming after you. If you get in a boat and get on the water, they don't have any contingency plan and you get away. If you jump in a fucking freighter and move 5 miles an hour down the coastline, they give up because they have no way to track you on water.
Well, that's
kind of just a design flaw.
It's realistic.
No, it's not. Multiplayer stuff's kind of cool. Like the fact I can, like, while I'm walking around the world, it'll be like you're being hacked, and there'll be a player disguised as an NPC running around the world, and they have to, like, stay within a certain vicinity of you while they hack your information, and you have to try and run around and find them before they do it. It's kind of neat. I did that a decent amount. It was fun because you have to try and act nonchalant or hide far away from them. It's cool. It's a cool idea. But just it's a solid enough open world game. It's just nothing special. And where it tries to be special, it fails. So it's not like I wouldn't recommend it, but, like, lower price. It's a good $30, $40 purchase, I would think. Because then you're getting solid open world game that doesn't really do anything that defines next gen at all, whatsoever. So
you're against redefining next gen?
Well, no, and if you do it, then sure, go for it.
I mean, like you're like no.
It does. It's a fucking lie. There was no way it was going to live up to the expectations that were set by that initial reveal trailer and all of there's like 18 trailers that they kept putting out over the course of that game's development. And because Ubisoft does that a lot. They like, hey, our game's coming out, and then next week, like, hey, just a reminder, our game's coming out, and the third week they're like, seriously guys, just let you know, game's coming out. They just release trailers constantly. It's kind of annoying. It's a flood of marketing. But Watch Dogs it's a disappointing game. So I've kind of been talking this entire time. Dan has just been kind of sitting there being like agreeing with me or going like, "Whoa, that's weird," but he hasn't played nearly as many games as I have.
I haven't. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm a weenie.
So let's talk about a game that we have both played that we can both comment on. A game that should have worked because it's worked 4 times in the past, but apparently putting all 4 of these functioning games on one disc, it's not possible to do well. Halo, the Master Chief Collection. By the way, somehow in that sentence, turn my Xbox on. I don't know how. Xbox, turn off. Yes. I guarantee I just turned off some Xboxes.
Oh, sorry, everyone.
Anyway, speaking of Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Dan, go.
I think it was even more than 4, wasn't it?
What do you mean?
I don't know, like ODST and Wars.
No, well, that's... well, no, I'm saying they put... Oh, you're saying of worked in the past.
Yeah, they've had more opportunities.
Halo, say what you will about it, it's worked every time it's come out. All of those games have always been known for rock-solid online functionality. I
really don't ever remember a time where I had problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe we can... Part of me feels like, with all this stuff, do you think it has anything to do with the fact that it's next gen?
No,
like just on a new system?
Maybe, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you're porting 4 games from 2 of which were on the original fucking Xbox. You did a lot of work to Halo 2, fine, but you're porting games from older generations and putting them on even better hardware technically. They should work. They're really...
Yeah.
Apparently, they were blindsided by this lack of functionality. Because they did a bunch of local testing in like a local environment, and they're like, but we didn't even suspect this would work. Don't you have... Microsoft, don't you have offices around the country and world? You couldn't have someone turn on an Xbox in each one of them?
Oh.
You would have solved the problem.
Beta test?
All games should have beta tests these days. Seriously.
No, we talked about that extensively.
On the broken one, yeah.
In Halo's defense, it has gotten monumentally better.
Mm-hmm.
Monumental better. It has gotten better by leaps and bounds. When I turn it on, if I want to play Halo, hey, I can actually play Halo now. It's taken like 6 updates.
Some of which kept breaking stuff and not fixing anything.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you know, even the problem with the achievements, achievements have been unlocked. For some reason, Mike was playing Worms Battlegrounds, and out of nowhere he got the achievement for keys that he had completed.
Really?
2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, it just randomly unlocked for him.
I didn't know Captain Keys was in Worms. That's magical.
I know, right?
I'm happy for crossovers.
But like, I think, yeah, we were playing Worms, and he was just like, oh, I got the achievement for keys finally.
Dude. It's Microsoft, and it's Halo. How do you fuck it up? That's the franchise you are known for.
Yeah, that sold a lot of Xboxes.
I know people who were like, I cannot wait to play the Halo Master Chief Collection on my Xbox One. Well...
Like me.
It's unfortunate. Like, I remember when it unlocked for us at midnight, I was playing through some campaign, and then you got on, and I was like, hey, Dan, let's play. Hey, Dan, let's play. And Dan, let's play. And you were just like, dude, stop texting me. We can play now. And... Because I kind of bugged you. And you were like, all right, let's get into a party together. Send me an invite. Did you send it? Yeah. I mean, I didn't get one. All right, send it again. All right, there. Accept invite. Am I in your game? No. It says that I'm in your game, but you're not. Okay, let me check the roster. Who are these strangers that I've never heard of or been in a game with in our thing right now? What's going on? Whatever. Try and go to matchmaking. Oh, it crashed. Huh, the game locked up. Bummer. This is weird. This must be launch day jitters. And then the next day it happened again. And the next day it happened again.
This went on for a month plus.
It's still going on for some people, I think. It's better. Like, I will say a week ago, just for shits and giggles, I joined 4 games in a row. Or I tried 4 times. First time it took 5 minutes, but put me in a game. Second time it connected me quickly, but the game was unbalanced. And the third time it worked as intended. So it's still inconsistent. But there isn't, here's what Halo should have been. It shouldn't have been like this huge disaster. It should have been like, oh, hey, they're putting all the Halos on like one, or they're putting like some of the biggest Halo games all on one disc. Like, that's a neat thing. That's a love letter to the fans. Cool. And then no one should have talked about it. Like, it should have just been like, oh, that's neat that they did that. Okay, cool. You can play Halo with your friends if you want. But you can't. You couldn't at all reliably. And I don't understand some of the bugs. The fact that there was stuff like, if it would, like, matchmake people into your private party, but not into a multiplayer game. I don't know how that happens.
I mean, it's in its defense. It's gotten I've been able to play.
I mean, look, it's a ton of content.
It is,
and it is trying to do something that's probably difficult, where it's combining 4 different games, multiplayers, all of their maps, all with different guns and physics and balance tweaks and animations. All of it is different and unique. But it's Microsoft and it's Halo. Maybe try and make sure that works out the door.
Yeah.
That was profoundly disappointing. When the launch weekend of your game, I hear my friend playing Bop It more than I actually play your fucking game, while we sit in a matchmaking lobby for 45 minutes only to have it crash.
I got up to 100.
Woo! That's the one good thing that came out of Halo the Master Chief Collection. Dan upped his Bop It skills. Playing on mic, just bop it, bop. While we're just sitting there, we're twiddling our thumbs, holding our breath, praying to all of the internet gods that it'll connect us to a game within half an hour, and that it will connect us in a game that doesn't just immediately crash, and it will connect us in a game that has enough players in it to actually be balanced. And Dan just sitting there having a ball. Bopping it, twisting it, flicking it, pulling it, something else in it. Whatever.
And it was classic. It was classic. It's only twist, bot, pull.
Oh, retro. Like, it's cool. Seriously though, like, it's unacceptable. Like, I was actually it was kind of weird to me that, like, when we were all with our friends, like, they were, some of our friends were just like, dude, like, it sucks, but stop it. Like, no, I'm gonna bitch. I'm gonna fucking bitch, because this shit should work. It worked the first 4 times you released it. Put them together and make it work. Should have worked. It's kind of inexcusable that it didn't.
Launch, totally disappointing. Sucked. Everything. Now it's good, decent. I like it.
It's not where it should be, but now I haven't tried it with a party. On my own, I can get into games more often than not. Whether or not those games are balanced, that's a different thing. But I haven't tried it with a party.
No.
We'll do that at some point. I've heard it hasn't worked. Like, I've heard that works better on your own, not much better with parties. That's what I've heard, but I don't know for sure.
We'll try it. We'll try it again soon.
All right. So next, another game that me and Dan have both played, and I am super curious. I am incredibly curious how disappointed Dan is, or even if he is disappointed in the game, because I know that I am profoundly disappointed in Destiny. Leaps and bounds. I am incredibly disappointed. Dan has heard me bitch and moan about Destiny since it came out. And I want to know, Dan, who has played that game like 4 times more than I have, and I'm 28. I'm level 28 guy. I want to know what Dan thinks of Destiny.
Was this before I knew everything about what it was supposed to be?
Just whatever, man.
Okay. How do I describe this? As somebody who's played World of Warcraft, and I have gotten to the end game where I have reached the max level, and it just comes down to I need to boost my abilities. I kind of actually had.
It's not an MMO. It's not an MMO. It's not an MMO. No, keep going.
I kind of enjoy the, trying to find better items, doing the raid. Like, the end game is fun to me. But getting there kind of sucky and repetitive, and the story's not there. Now, with all the things that were promised, like, that I learned about, it's really hard to...
I'm whispering, so shh. I mean, what's happening? You don't hear anything. The air conditioning's on. It's weird.
This is like that app where you put it in your ears and it delays your voice because it's really fucking hard to say things. After hearing about what the game was supposed to be, like the concepts before, and Craig has talked my ear off about the concepts before, it's so hard!
Alright, I'll shut up, seriously.
I'm like, when it, compared to what you said it was going to be, like, I didn't do, oh, my ears itch. I didn't do, like, extensive research like you did.
I didn't either. I was just listening to what they kept saying up to launch.
Yeah, like, for instance, we always point out the fact that, was it a queen or a princess? Who was that bitch?
The queen's brother?
Yeah. Like, the only time we ever see him is, like, in the throne room. Whereas before, you were supposed to meet him on the wasteland somewhere.
And he had a
like,
name.
Pulls a gun on you.
He wasn't just
and he had a
brother.
name.
I think it was Crow. I think his name was Crow.
Oh, God, he does.
In the wastelands, Guardian, this is how we talk. Like,
yeah.
That's...
Like, I enjoy the end game. I like the raid that there was. I haven't done the new one. But getting there sucked, and it was boring, and honestly, the Crucible is not as fun as Halo. As much as it wants to try to be Halo, not as fun as Halo. So how
disappointed... Are you, like, a little disappointed? Are you moderately disappointed? Are you super disappointed?
It's not the game, like... It's not like Watch Dogs, where everybody's like, this is gonna be the best game ever.
That's exactly what it was, but go on.
It doesn't, like, everybody hyped it up like it was gonna be a lot bigger and better. Like, if I'm getting to... Even when I played World of Warcraft and I did not even pay attention to what the quest was, will you stop saying it's not an MMO? I get it's not an MMO. Even when I was playing World of Warcraft, I was waiting for you to do it.
No, I'm good. You're good.
Even when I played World of Warcraft and I kind of skipped a lot of the dialogue stuff that was going on, I still had a lot of fun playing the quests to get to a higher level. But the ones in Destiny just seem hollow.
What?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
They feel like shells of what they...
Fucking shit! Excuse me. All right.
Got a cold there, buddy?
A little itch in my throat. Sack of shit!
They just felt really hollow and not really that fun and really didn't have any story progression. It's just like, usually when I play games, I'll listen to something in the background, and I was just like, no, I want to pay attention to the story. I get halfway through and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I'm going to put on YouTube and listen to something.
So, mildly disappointed, moderately disappointed, super disappointed.
I'm going to say mild to moderate.
Alright. Fuck it. Super disappointed. Fuck this. Destiny should have been one of the fucking best things that came out this year. And the reason I say that is because it's from a studio with an amazing pedigree. Bungie. Dude, Bungie made Halo. Halo is, despite what just happened with Master Chief, that was 343, that wasn't Bungie. Halo is known for being like this great series with single player, multiplayer, like stories that expand universes. The fate of the galaxy is in your hands, and you must fight with AI and all this other shit. And fun multiplayer that people keep coming back to for years and years and years. Destiny, however, is a shell of a game. It is severely lacking in content. It is repetitive as all hell. All right, just so I don't bitch constantly. Visuals, the game looks amazing. Graphically, the art team, great job. Amazing skyboxes. Character models are beautiful. They're great. Soundtrack, fucking awesome. Sweeping scores, they're so good. They're pleasant to listen to at all times. And like the combat music gets your heart pumping more than the actual combat does. And the combat, rock solid. It's satisfying to shoot stuff. Shoot your gun, it's fun. However, there's like very little content in that game. The fact that Dan kept comparing it to World of Warcraft kind of annoys me, because people say like, dude, Destiny, it's an MMO. No, it's not. It's not. It's a persistent world where other players are running around, but you're basically doing your own thing. Can you run around and do like a 3-team firefight thing? Yeah, but then you're just playing a cooperative shooter. Whoopity-doo. It's not an MMO. And even if it was, you know what? Let me give you that. It's an MMO. It's an MMO with like 6 hours of content. 6 to 8 if you count the raid, because the raid can be long. And they expect you to play that 6 to 8 hours of content again and again and again and again, in the hopes that you'll get a slightly better gun, a slightly better helmet, so that you can go and play those missions again and again, with no differences other than, hey, you can like make it harder. You can make it so that the enemies take more damage, and certain ammo types deal more damage. Same areas, same enemy placement, same wave-based survival bullshit that every mission in that game boils down to. Every mission in that game boils down to start at the same exact location, no matter what mission you're doing, spawn in the same exact fucking location on every planet, run deeper into the map depending on which mission you're choosing, shoot enemies on the way, launch Dinklebot, Peter Dinklage Robot Man. He says something, you defend him from waves of enemies. That's it. Every mission in that game can be boiled down to that. It's lazy design. It's incredibly lazy. The fact that the loot drops at launch were infuriating. Now, they're still kind of annoying, but they're not as infuriating, because before, there was a random dice roll whether or not you were going to get a loot drop in the first place. There was a random dice roll what type of loot it was going to be, whether it was going to be a common, a rare, a legendary, or whatever. And then there was another dice roll when you went to the Cryptarch to decode the thing that you got, the weapon. Even if it was a purple, odds were pretty good the game was going to bend you over and fuck your dreams right out of you, because it was not going to give you a purple, it was going to give you a blue or a green. There are people who saved up like 16 legendaries and didn't get a single one when they decoded them all at the launch. I don't understand how they thought that was a good idea to start, because people bitched like crazy. And I don't understand how no one noticed it to start, because you had an alpha and you had a beta. No one brought it up to you. No one said, hey, it's kind of bullshit that I grind the same 6 hours of content over and over and over again to get a weapon that might be useless. So maybe could you not do that? I don't understand how they never got told that complaint at any point. So they have since patched it so that now when you get a purple, you're at least going to get a purple or better. When you get a blue, you're at least going to get a blue or better. Fine. Should have been that way from the start. Difficulty modifiers, it's really just enemies are more bullet sponges. Like, it's nothing new. The sheer lack of the fact that when I played the beta, and when I did, I was super optimistic, because I was expecting kind of like a mix of Halo combat with like Borderlands loot. That's what I went in kind of expecting, because that's what they were selling. That's what they kept talking about. And I was also expecting, narrative, instead of just not a website database that I'm supposed to go to. Actual in-the-game story. There's none of that. Nothing is explained. They don't care. They don't even try. So when I played the beta, I played it and I was like, oh, you know, now that I know what Destiny is trying to be, like, I like this. This feels good. I can't wait to see how much more of the game there is. I just hope that there's not really any cutscenes or narrative in the beta, but they probably, like, took those out. They probably, you know, because it's about the gameplay. It's about testing the server infrastructure and balance and stuff like that. So they probably just took out the cutscenes. Nope. There just weren't any cutscenes there to begin with. Silly me. My bad. Oh, well, I really hope that they have more variety in the missions and they're not all just defense ones, because all the missions in the beta have just been like, you run to an area and you defend Dinklebot. I really hope that there's more variety in the missions. Like, nope, nuh-uh, same fucking mission on every single goddamn planet. Every mission plays out exactly the same every single time. And finally, oh well, I can't wait to get all the level cap is at level 8, and I can't wait to see like all the awesome guns I'm gonna get once I get up there. And they keep bragging about how when you hit level 20, because the level cap is 30, but when you hit level 20, that's when the real game starts. That's when like the end game content. Dude, the game changes. No, it doesn't. No, it fucking doesn't. It's the same missions. There are no new missions get unlocked when you hit 20. You're playing the same shit. The same story missions, the same strikes. And when you get to level like 28, you can play the raid. The raid has some cool ideas, but they're only cool because everything else in that game is so repetitive and soulless and shallow, comparatively. It's so disappointing. And like I said, when I played that beta, the beta was Earth. You can play through like the entirety of Earth. And when I played that beta, I thought to myself, all right, it's going to be really cool when they unlock when the full game, they're going to have a bunch more missions on Earth. And there's going to be like a bunch of planets to explore. I didn't know I had played through a third of the game. But I had played through a third of the game. And had to replay it when I got the final product. And the Crucible, like, it can be stupid fun, but it's not something I can get seriously into. It's the one-hit kills, and like, I can have fun with the Crucible, but I can also not like the Crucible just as easily on a match-by-match basis. It's kind of a crapshoot whether or not you're going to have a good time. So Destiny, to me, for everything they talked about what that game was going to be, everything they promised, it's not. Like, if this is legitimately what their goal was for the last 4 years, and this is what they came out with, what the fuck happened? That you have misguided designers. What I'm gonna say happened, what I'm guessing happened, this is my theory, and I think it's the theory that most people have also accepted, is that like a year ago they had to start over. Or they had to scrap most of what they had and try and piece something together. Because it really feels like chunks of that game are missing. If you look at old preview material, you will see stuff that is nowhere to be found in the final game. Like, you'll in the trailers for like the development diaries, you'll see them open chests and have loot spew out and roll on the floor. Where's that? Not there. You see characters that are just given completely different contexts like later on. And the fact that the latest DLC is $20 and you get 3 story missions, 1 strike, and 1 raid. Whoa, that's so awesome. That's totally worth $20. Yeah. Nuh-uh. It's not. Don't even add a new planet. Just go to the moon. Fuck it. Because you're going to do it anyway. Haha, plebes. We're Bungie. Fuck you. It's not. Destiny should have been more. It should have been like this great game, and instead, like, it's an okay game. It's a good gameplay experience with nothing surrounding it. There's no meat to it. It's frustrating. It's infuriating. Now, I played a lot on my own, and I played with Dan and our other friend Phil, and I did have some fun. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that's just because playing with friends is just inherently fun. Shooting at the same waves of enemies over and over again, running through the same hallways, using the same guns. That's not particularly fun. But when you got 3 people and you're calling out positions of enemies, even though we kind of all know where they're coming from because they don't change up their tactics at all. The fact that in order to have fun with that game on the higher difficulties where enemies are just ridiculous, they just deal ridiculous amounts of damage and are bullet sponges, we just had to exploit the game. We'd like hide in a crevice while the boss didn't know how to get around and just shoot him for like an hour. That's not entertaining. That's not fun. Destiny, solid gameplay at the center of it, but everything surrounding it is just so bare bones and so disappointing. And I don't know, they keep saying this thing about a 10-year plan, which to me means in 2 years we're going to get Destiny 2, the game it should have been to start with. And who knows, maybe that'll be awesome. Maybe it'll have all the shit that everyone was expecting. But as it stands, Destiny right now, it's just... it's incredibly disappointing. I feel very strongly about this. So, hey, Dan.
Wow.
My throat is sore. My throat is on fire right now.
Yeah, I was just letting you go because I feel like I need some water to get the salt out of my mouth.
Destiny, dude.
Admittedly,
it was destined for great things.
You enjoyed it when you actually got an exotic.
Well, I got an exotic because, you know, after, like, what, 30 hours play. No, the fact that I put 30 hours into it. I keep hearing apologists for the game say Destiny is the game that everyone criticizes, but they can't stop playing. And I think that's just because the core shooting is pretty alright, and, you know, it's one of the big releases of the year. What else are we gonna do? It's what my friends all own. Everyone bought into the hype. Everyone bought Destiny expecting so much out of it. And I'm pretty sure, like, Dan just kept playing it and playing it and playing it and playing it and playing it. And I don't know, did you play it mostly with Phil or other people in general, or did you play a lot on your own?
There was a lot on my own, but there was also a lot with Phil.
Were you having fun playing on your own, or was it just like, I guess I'm gonna put in a podcast or put on some YouTube videos and just race in circles around the moon to grind out this helium or whatever?
Pretty much.
That's not... So you weren't having fun. It was just something to do to pass the time at the point.
I think I might have gone into a coma a few times.
I wouldn't believe... Well, I mean, the game requires the same amount of thought. Haha. Boom. Destiny, man, that game is so incredibly disappointing. Here's the thing, but the thing about Destiny, though, it's a new IP, and while I do not like what it is, and I think what it is incredibly bare bones, it's a functioning product. It works as intended, though I question the way it was built. I question, like, every aspect of its design.
Now, you said this about Titanfall yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the second one could be a lot better?
Yeah, but at the same time, they kept promising Destiny to be like, to be so many things and to have all of this cool content and cool stuff in it. And they kept saying 10-year plan, 10-year plan, which I guarantee you means we're going to make a sequel that's the game the first one should have been. Could be, yes. It could be cool. It could fix all the problems I have with it, provided they listen to all of the feedback and don't just smell their own farts and be like, but we're Bungie and we made billions of dollars off Destiny. As long as that doesn't happen, I have hope, but I have zero expectation at this point.
Smell their own... What?
Smell their own farts? You've never heard that expression?
Oh, like the episode of South Park with the Prius owners?
You think like you're pretentious and you think that you're great, even if like if someone comes in and if all these people come to you and be like, we think that this aspect of your game is poorly designed, you need to fix it, and Bungie goes, nah, we know what we're doing. We make great games. We made Halo, so fuck off.
Yeah, that was that was that episode of South Park with the Prius owners. They were always just like.
It could. Oh God, Destiny is probably my most disappointing game of the year. Hands down.
Your pick? That's your pick?
It's absolutely my most disappointing game of the year. I've got one more game to talk about, but Destiny is... Jesus Christ.
Overshadows this one?
Okay. No, Destiny overshadows the one I'm going to talk about. But the one I'm going to talk about is... It's its own special kind of thing.
Okay.
So what I was trying to get at before is that Destiny, well, I don't like what it is and I question its design decisions. It's a functioning product. It's what the developers intended at a point. Assassin's Creed Unity.
Oh no.
Is a flaming car fire.
Oh no.
I do not understand how this happened. It's called Assassin's Creed Unity. It should have been called because that's what it is. It is shit. It is shit. And I'm not even talking about the technical things. The frame rate is a jittery mess. They were like, hey, guys, we're aiming for 30 frames a second, all right? We're going to get this game at a nice, solid 30 frames per second. What they meant was 12. So the game is constantly just this jittery fucking disaster. By the way, I've played it. Dan is not. He's behind on Assassin's Creed. It's this jittery, absolute just mess, technically. People are falling through the world. NPCs are constantly spawning in the same handful of models to fill giant crowds, which the crowds are tanking the frame rate. People are falling through the world. You're running around, you just fall through the world. It's a goddamn mess. However, if it worked perfectly, if it functioned at a smooth, buttery smooth 60 frames a second, 100 frames a second, 200 frames a fucking second, it would still be a mediocre product as an Assassin's Creed game. And that's even more disheartening because Black Flag was so good. Black Flag made me care about Assassin's Creed again. I said in the Game of the Year video I made last year, I'm excited to see what this franchise does next. Unity has killed any interest I have in Assassin's Creed anymore. Even if next year's game... First of all, they should not make a next year's game, even though they've already fucking announced it. They should not make next year's game, but when they do, I don't care. You have destroyed all the goodwill. Not only did you let this buggy mess out the door, this game that runs like shit, that crashed numerous times on me, locked my PS4 at a point, but you made a game that is so lazy and takes so many steps backwards. The fact that the combat shit that they've been adding over the years is just not in the game anymore. Since Assassin's Creed 3, was it 3 or was it Revelations? Or it might have been, I think it was 3. 3 introduced guns, because it was revolutionary, so flintlock pistols and muskets. And the way that they got around that, because, people have guns now, that's a problem, right? For an assassin who's been fighting with swords. Is that they take a while to line up their shot, and a little icon appears that's like, hey, this guy's about to shoot you. And in 3 and 4, you could hit a button, you could hit the counter button, and, grab a human shield to take the bullet for you. Not here anymore. Gone. So if someone's going to shoot you, they're fucking shooting you. Unless you just happen to shoot them first by, whipping out your gun in the middle of a combat and hoping that you auto-target the guy who's 100 feet away instead of the guy right in front of you. Not going to happen. You're going to target the guy in front of you. You're getting shot. Sucks for you. That's gone. The combat is made worse by the bad frame rate, but it's just unresponsive. There are times where, you hit the button and you do not do what you intend. You're like, all right, swing your sword. Why didn't you do that? Now you're dead. That guy is swinging a sword at you. Block it. Or don't. And take a sword to the face. The buttons just don't, sometimes they just don't respond. The traversal elements, everything feels slower and more clunky. The one thing they added in terms of the parkour elements that is neat is that if you hold the trigger and the circle button or the B button, you've played Assassin's Creed before. You know how if you run toward a building and hold run, he'll just climb the building?
Yeah, naturally.
So in this, they added the inverse, where he'll scale down a building without you having to just constantly finagle and try and make him let go of stuff. You just hold a button and he will just find the quickest route down automatically.
Oh, that sounds nice.
That is nice. They streamlined that. Is a good decision. However, they made it so that, when you're climbing up a building, now that there are windows everywhere, if you need to go inside a building, if you're trying to like sneak inside of a mansion or something and you need to go in the window, he doesn't know what to do. He'll constantly, like, you're right below the window. You're hanging onto the fucking windowsill. All you want to do is pull him up and throw him in the window and have him kill the guard that's on the other side of the room. Instead, he'll leap past the window and grab onto the top. Then you make him drop down again. Then he'll leap to the right of the window and then go back and then leap to the left of the window. And it's just, it's like I would have better luck just throwing my controller across the room and seeing if, like, the thumbstick goes up correctly. There's also, while you're going upward, this has always been an issue in Assassin's Creed because, like, it's a huge world, tons of buildings, tons of surfaces. In Assassin's Creed, it's always been a constant problem where if you're scaling up a building, there will be an obvious handhold right there, but he just, for some reason, he won't recognize it and he won't try to go for it, and you're just kind of stuck hanging there until you finagle it and the game goes, oh, right, he can grab that. And that happens in Assassin's Creed. It's always happened. It happens all the fucking time in Unity. It was like a constant but relatively minor annoyance previously. All the fucking time, there's a ledge right there. It's not even like a jump up. Like, you could literally breathe on the fucking stone that I want you to grab, and you just refuse to do it. So there's that stuff. They've taken step backs, like the ship combat that everyone loved in Black Flag, gone. No, let's throw that out. No one, who wants to be a pirate again? Fuck that. Strangely enough, this is the next gen one. This is like their first shot. They've had multiple teams over the course of like 3 or 4 years working on Assassin's Creed Unity to bring it to the next generation. They've also had a B team working on another game called Assassin's Creed Rogue, which was for the previous gen. It was for the 360 and the PS3. Apparently that game is more Black Flag and is fucking good. So the last gen version, more good stuff. I got the shit. I got fucking shit. I paid for the latest and greatest technology to deliver me a fat fucking turd. It's unfucking acceptable. What's even worse than just all the gameplay problems and all the lack of responsiveness and the parkour not working as well as it should, there's the inclusion of microtransactions and also just a bunch of Ubisoft bullshit. Walls smacked down in front of you to try and get money out of you or to get you to help them out. And by that, like, there's the microtransaction shit, but it's skippable. You can break the economy pretty easily. It's gross that it's there. It's gross that they disabled it for reviewers so they couldn't comment on it and then activated it when people had it available. That shit is gross. It shouldn't fucking be there in a $60 product, but whatever, you can completely avoid it. They have if you load up the map in Assassin's Creed, that map is littered with icons. Someone threw a bag of icons at the map screen and shit stuck to it. There's so much littering that map. So in Assassin's Creed, you know how there are chests, like, full of gold or whatever, just like that you can pick up?
Yeah, from what I remember.
So those are still there.
It's been a while, so.
Yeah, but those are still there. But there's various different types of chests. There are some chests that are normal, that you can just walk up to and open, like you would expect. Then there are chests that can only be open if you activate Uplay. Then there are chests that can only be opened if you download the companion app and get to a certain level in the companion app. Which is fucking despicable. Ubisoft is the new EA. No shit. EA has had a pretty goddamn good year. Ubisoft has had one of the worst years they've ever had in terms of making games and fucking their customer base over. So there's all that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's like alternate.
Well, like
what's
every
happening?
company, like, at the beginning of the year, all the like suits and cigars flip a coin and like, oh well, you're getting fucked this year, Tony.
Yeah. Some of us have to be good, and some of us just have to be bad.
Do they have a poker game where they're just like, all in, my integrity, and then they fuck it up? So,
I mean, I've seen those. You've seen that meme where it's like a job interview. I think it's Cyanide and Happiness, where it's like, what are your qualifications? And it's just like, I fucking hate my customers. You're hired. And then, like, it used to say EA, and now, like,
Now it's Ubisoft. That's what they do.
It's Ubisoft.
So there's all that stuff. There's the gameplay that is less responsive and clunkier, with features that have been removed. There are the microtransactions. There are the bullshit customer-hating walls that they put up. There's the rash of technical issues. Finally, the final straw that broke the camel's back is the story. The story is dull, it's obvious, and it's pointless. And I'm not just saying that as an adjective. The game tells you its story is pointless. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Throughout that game, the beginning of the game essentially is you're this devilish rogue. You're this, you're an Assassin's Creed lead. How about I put it that way? You're this troublemaker who happens to be really good at parkour. And then your surrogate father gets murdered. He dies, who turns out to be a Templar. And then you join the Assassin Order to take out Templars to find his killer. So the main crux of the narrative is a murder mystery, like a whodunit. We have to unravel a conspiracy. Hey, Dan.
What?
Who is the bad guy in the Assassin's Creed series? Who are the bad people in the Assassin's Creed series?
Isn't it the Templars?
Correct. Who would you think is the worst Templar? Now, I'm not talking about specific characters, but just, like, think of the hierarchy. Who's the worst Templar? The Grand Master in charge of everything guy, or, like, some low-level dude?
I would probably assume the Grand Master.
Then, congratulations, you have figured out who the villain is.
Oh.
It turns out the villain, the bad guy of Assassin's Creed, is the bad guy.
No way.
Fucking, I know, it's a shocker, but you go around doing this incredibly just lazy, I don't care, why was his father killed? I don't know. You go through, like, 13, 14, 15 people. You kill so many people to unravel the mystery, and the mystery is the bad guy killed him. No fucking shit. What? Whoa, I didn't expect that. We have to find out who the bad guy is. Hey, there's this Grandmaster Templar guy. Should we look at him? No. Let's go to this low-level guy, and this other low-level guy, and this other. Work your up the chain. Oh, the bad guy was the main What? That's what? Who would have thought? So, the bad guy is the bad guy. There's a part in that game, near the end, where Arno has been, kind of been on his own quest for revenge, and he's been killing people indiscriminately without assassin approval, so they kick him out of the Assassin Order. And then there's this really out-of-place part of the game where, like, Arno becomes depressed and he just starts drinking a lot, and he wakes up from a hangover, and then he has to try and piece together what happened the night before, so they basically make the hangover into an Assassin's Creed mission.
Wow.
And that sounds cool, and it's a neat idea, but the problem is that all it does is make Arno look like he's not a very interesting character. Basically, the second he's kind of like a joking rogue, like, oh, he's a rapscallion. Then he becomes an assassin, and he becomes humorless. All of his personality just fucking goes out the door. So, but up until this point that I'm talking about, the hangover mission, he's, like, you don't hate the guy. He's just kind of there, but you have nothing against him. He's boring, but not offensive. Then he does stuff that takes away any likability he had, and he's just a fucking monster. He's a terrible person. And the reason that is because, so he wakes up, and his father's watch is missing, and he, like, loves this watch. It's just the only thing he has left of his father. And he's like, oh, I don't know where it is. And then he looks and he sees a wine barrel with a pub name on it, and he's like, where did I get that last night? And then he flashes back, hangover style. So apparently the night before, in a drunken stupor, he gets kicked out of a bar, and the owner's like, you're out, you're causing trouble, get out of my bar. And Arno's like, yeah, well, fuck you, I'm gonna find a way to drink however I want. So then, you sneak around back, murder 6 or 7 completely innocent people, and steal the guy's wine to get back at him. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen, He's a fucking drunkard and a murderer of the innocent. So then that happens. And I'm like, what the hell? What the fuck? This is so unjustified. Then it flashes back even further into the night before he got kicked out. The reason he got kicked out is because he was sitting in the bar and he was drinking. And these guys, this group of jackasses, shoulder check him. But that's all they do. They don't, like, scream at him. They don't call him names. They don't chastise him. They're just generic jerks. They shoulder check him. And Arno is like, nah, I'm not having any of that. And he grabs a bottle to smack over their heads. And the bartender grabs his arm and is like, just don't. Please don't. And so Arno takes that advice, disregards it, takes his sword out, and starts chopping people down in the fucking bar. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen. So then after that, you're drunk and you can't really fight, and the controls are already fucking sluggish and broken. So you lose the fight, and you get kicked out, and that's how he got kicked out. And when he got kicked out, he dropped his watch, and someone picked it up and took it away. All he wants is his watch back, and then he finds out that they're at, like, an old abandoned manor. Like, I think it was the manor he might have grown up in, or it's the manor where the murder took place. I forget. It's an important manor, and he stabs, like, 40 people to get his watch back. 40 people who have done nothing to wrong him. Like, they're rummaging through a place that holds value to him, but they're not fucking Templar people. They have not done anything to wrong you except take your watch. And you know what? After what happened the night before, you don't fucking deserve the watch. And then your love interest comes and is like, hey, you're in a bad way. Why don't you get back on your feet and help me take out the Templar guy? And don't even mention the fact that I killed innocent people for wine and because they looked at me funny. What I just described is like a Far Cry villain thing that would happen. It's not
essentially.
It's so fucking unjustified, and it makes him out. It kills whatever likability he has. And then the biggest insult on top of all of this.
There's more?
Having slogged my way through this, having played as this despicable piece of shit running at 20 frames a second max. The whole reason you're playing as an assassin, because in Assassin's Creed there is the whole Abstergo angle, the Animus, and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And at this point, Desmond is long gone. And they took this really cool new approach to it in the last game, in Black Flag, where in the real world, you were actually playing as a game developer at Abstergo Industries, who was partnered with Ubisoft to make games about assassins using the... It was this awesome meta thing where you were basically playing as a game developer developing Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And so in this one, the justification is they have shipped a game to stores, and the assassin... And you're just a player, like at home, you're just a plebe playing the game. And the assassins hack into your game and are just like, hey, whoa, man, you're playing a game designed by the Templars, but why don't you help us out? They don't give you any fucking choice, but they're like, why don't you help us out, help out our cause, and fight against the Templars by playing this video game through like you were probably going to do anyway. But that's what they do. And the reason why is because Arno, in Assassin's Creed, there are these like mystical people called sages. And they are basically... They're reincarnations of ancestors of the precursor race, whatever, like the alien things, like the powerful things that came before humanity that's in this series. So they have some DNA of them left in them. That's why they're valuable. And in the last game, there was an entire problem involving a sage. So in this one, they're like, hey, we have to find this sage. We have to find where this sage is buried before the Templars do, because the Templars, if they find his body, they might use the DNA and enact hell upon the world. So we need your help. Okay, fine. That's a justification for hacking into my product. However, at the end of the game, you fight the sage. You kill the sage. He has a magic lightning sword, and the boss fight's broken. They don't justify the magic lightning sword. He just fucking has it. And you fight him in this really terrible, awkward battle. You kill him. And then Arno leaves. He leaves, and then it just goes years later, and he comes back for no fucking reason. They don't explain why he came back, he just happened to. And he finds the sage's body, which is now a skeleton. And he takes his body and just throws it in a crypt with like hundreds, if not thousands of other skeletons. And the assassins are like, oh, okay, well, the Templars would never find his body there, so there's no point in looking for it. Thanks, though. Bye. That's the fucking ending. The ending is, oh, it was pointless. They'll never find him. The Templars, who have proven they're willing to do fucking, in this series, anything, spend millions of dollars, harm anyone that gets in their way. They're not going to look through some bones, though. So, thanks for your help, I guess. And there's more collectibles. If you want, there's some chests you can open, but do you have Uplay? No? Okay, well, you can't open those, but do you have the app, though? No? Okay, can't open those either. So, thanks, though. It's an insulting ending. That game is a chore to get through. It's not a good product. It's a technically flawed product, and they've been patching and patching and patching. Nothing has changed. I didn't try the co-op because I didn't care. And the fact that game ends with well, that was pointless. Credits is so profoundly insulting. Oh my god.
Would you have rather played Sonic Boom?
It's okay. Sonic Boom is apparently just a travesty. Jim Sterling described Sonic Boom as that after playing Sonic Boom, he then came to the realization that one day he was going to die. That's how he describes Sonic Boom. But at the same time, Sonic doesn't have like a pedigree anymore. Apparently the more recent games have been like pretty okay for the most part. Like Generations and shit.
Yeah.
But every Sonic game, they throw everything out and just try something new. So it's a crapshoot if it's going to be good. So if I played Sonic Boom and it's shit, like, I'm not going to be surprised. Assassin's Creed has never been this fucking bad. I do not, like, I'd rather play the first one. And the first one is so repetitive and boring at a point. It was a nice, like, proof of concept, but it was an incredibly flawed and dull experience in the end. And 3, I didn't like 3. I found the protagonist really boring. The story wasn't very interesting to me, but it fucking functioned. It was a game. Unity is a broken mess. And it's unacceptable at this point. I don't care. Their next Assassin's Creed game, I think, it's called Victory, because it takes place in the Victorian era. Haha, get it? So, I don't care. I don't fucking care. You killed the goodwill. God damn it. Unity is the most insulting game I played all year. How about that? Fuck disappointing. It insults me. Oh, God. When you fuck me over, man. When you fuck me over, I let you know. God, my throat is on fire. I cannot stress enough.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah. Oh man, I am so full of salt. I'm so salty right now.
All of it.
So, it may be apparent at this point that 2014 was not a great year for games, really. There were some ups, but there were a lot of downs, and the downs, man, they were in the pits of hell. That's how far they went.
That is pretty low.
I think it was a disappointing year. Like, the lows were so low, the established franchises just fucked it up, releasing broken products or products that didn't meet expectations, and then the new IP is just hype, train wreck. Like, not train wreck's too harsh, fine, but they're just okay. Like, they're average to decent, but they're not setting the world on fire. They're not what they were promised. Oh man, I feel upset now. I'm sad. I like games. Why don't they like me? It's like an abusive like an abusive relationship. Like, no, Assassin's Creed, stop it. It's fucking bullshit. Anyway, Dan, I know I played more of these games than you did, so I apologize that you didn't get a chance to talk as much as I would have liked you to.
No, it's fine.
I'm sure you enjoyed my tirade as much
as
hopefully the people at home did. If you guys liked this just incredibly salty, I could make so many fries with the amount of salt that has come off of me today after this. If you have enjoyed all the yelling and ranting and disappointment that you have listened to, then please hit that like button. It helps out a lot. If you're interested in that 1 month free trial of audible.com, there's a link in the description for that. Thank you, Dan, for hanging out and talking about games and listening.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And letting me yell at you, or towards you, in your general direction, at least. But it was a weird year, and hopefully 2015, it gets better. I, for the love of God, please get better. I need you to get better, for my sake, for my sanity. But I hope you guys enjoyed what you heard. We'll see you in 2015. Now that doesn't necessarily. No, you fucking ruined everything. Now that doesn't necessarily. Why can't I say N-words? Wow. Was that the chair?
No. I farted.
I figured.